What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. Can black men have a mental breakdown? This goes out to the pastor that got shot in Killeen. Uh, Thumbnail is Brandon Marshall. He works in mental health. That's why the lime green thing he was wearing when he was playing. That's the color of, I want to say, Mental Health Awareness Month. And here's the thing. I think it's difficult for black men to have a mental breakdown in American society because interacting with us is viewed as a threat. So the bigger the guy, like I don't think a person like Brandon Marshall could have a mental breakdown if he wasn't um, an NFL athlete who was as famous as he was, because he's too big. Because if anybody ever seen Brandon Marshall, he's huge. He's like 6'5", 250, like he's huge. And a guy like that, and I'm bringing it into the pastor, a guy that's big, people are going to automatically be in fear for their lives on sight, you know. So you can't have a mental breakdown in America because people are not going to look at your mental breakdown as an actual mental breakdown. It's going to look like he's going to kill us all. And it's the same thing with with families. You know, it's unfortunate that families are probably not as invested and involved in a lot of these brothers' mental and physical health as they should be, because a lot of brothers are looked at as a tool, as a working mule, as a person who's supposed to be there for everybody, but nobody's supposed to be there for them. Kind of like a psychiatrist or psychologist who takes on everybody else's issues but doesn't have but needs probably a psychologist or therapist to let some of that out on as well. But these guys have nobody to let it out. So a lot of these problems fester and become a mental issue. And I say that because I know a few females in my life who have mental issues, and they've actually been arrested and detained and put into the quote unquote hospital because of their mental issues without having them shot, tased, beat, you know. But unfortunately, I can't think of a black man in that particular situation. It doesn't come to mind. I think people remember when the cop shot the guy who was laying down with the autistic kid on the ground, like with his hands up, and they just shot the guy in the leg anyways. And I remember the autistic guy that had the screwdriver, they shot him. And the other thing, and shout out to Dennis Sperling, shout out to Esquire, because he brought this up yesterday on his on his live, because this is where I saw it at. Is he was like, y'all got to stop calling the cops, because every time y'all call the cops, it don't end well for us. And this is the theatric and the hysterics of some of our sisters, where, you know, the minute a guy, even a family member, does something that you're uncomfortable with, you call the police. He's having a mental breakdown, but you can't be calm enough to the dispatcher to let him know it's a mental breakdown. You got to be over the top to the point they call the cops. And then you trying to tell the cops, I told y'all not to do this and I told y'all not to do that. You don't control these people's stereotypes. You don't control how these people view us. You don't control how these people deal with us. And you should know that going into it. And the reason why I'm saying this is because if we have a mental breakdown, this becomes an issue. I remember one of the Dallas Cowboys had a mental breakdown on the freeway. I forgot who he was. He was bipolar. This is some years ago. But he wound up jumping out of his car and running on the freeway. But they knew who he was. You know, they knew who he was. And this is an issue. Like, if you don't know who a black man is and he has a mental breakdown, seen as weak or is seen as a threat. And even if a guy has a mental breakdown that doesn't come from bipolar or manic depression or schizophrenia, he's going to be viewed as weak. And it's sad, because if a guy breaks down crying, people are not going to view him the same as a man anymore for some odd reason. And You know, y'all don't think about that. Because think about how long the Jordan meme was funny. You know, Sean Marino was funny. You know, brothers has a tearful moment. We make fun of that. We don't do that to anybody else. But this is my thoughts. Like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace.